Is there a way out? Can I change my brain? Am I just a victim to who I am? I'm your host, Steve Sisler. Stay tuned for another episode of Behavioral Insights.
Happy Thanksgiving, folks. I thought I would just slip in a very short phone call here that lets you listen in on as I'm onboarding an employee into one of the organizations that I consult with. So I pulled out all the dead space because it was a phone call. And you're just going to hear me and not the pauses between myself and the client. So I tightened it up really tight for you so you wouldn't be bored out of your mind. But, I don't know. I just wanted to throw something up today before we head out to the farm for Thanksgiving Day. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you have a beautiful and a wonderful Thanksgiving with your families and friends. And coming up next, my short little phone call. I think we're all doing that. Okay, so you're in the running for a role, correct? Oh, good. Okay, great. Sure. Yeah, yeah. So, hold on one second. Okay. You can't fail it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through three separate analyses here and just kind of give you a quick overview. Did you get any reports? Did they give you anything? Okay. I can send you some of these things here after we're done. Yeah. The first thing we're going to look at is your behavior. And your behavior really is a expression of your four primary emotions. And so we're measuring your primary emotions in levels of consistency. And we all have the same primary emotions, which are anger, optimism, patience, and fear. But we don't have them in the same levels of consistency. Some people are more optimistic than others, and so forth. So your anger is being measured in two different dimensions. The first dimension is your natural self, which we call your energy system. It means when you're about to make any kind of a decision in the world, your brain must, gather up the energy to do it. So what energy is available? It would be the question. It's sort of like if I want to build a doghouse, I got to go into the garage and see what available tools I have to build it. Well, what if I don't have a hammer? Then I hope it's a snap together, right? So that's what it's like. So what we end up having to do as people is whatever tools we have available, that's all we've got to use. So we use it and we can get very creative with them, depending upon what they are. So looking at your natural self, your anger on a scale of 0 to 100 in intensity, it comes in at a 30. So you're not an angry type. And anger, I don't want you to get the idea that anger is a bad emotion or being angry is bad. The anger emotion is the emotion we use to get results. So depending upon how consistent our anger is will determine how quickly we will likely move on a situation or how quickly we will enact a behavior or do what we believe needs to be done. So coming in at a 30, this puts you in a position of amiability, which means you're very amiable, you're easygoing, fun-loving, and you're not likely gonna chomp at the bit, and you're standing there with your hands on your hips waiting for me to finish speaking so you can say what you want to say. Not that kind of a person. And so this will also make you more conflict avoidant, which means you're going to think, okay, do I even want to put a dog in this fight? Like, what kind of fallout is that going to create? You know what I mean? And so, yeah, okay. So where your strength is your optimism, and you're almost a 90 on optimism. So this causes you to be very inspirational, I'd say. Motivational, inspirational, fun, exciting, magnetic, attractive. You might say, oh my God, how was your weekend? I haven't seen you in so long. Like that. Rather than just looking at me going, what's up? Okay. So this makes you engaging, you see? Okay. The third emotion is patience, and you're a 52. Now, that's not fun sometimes for you. And what I mean by that is it's like having an invisible cricket sitting on your shoulder, whispering in your ear, and then asking you things like this. Are you sure you want to say that? It causes you to possibly second guess yourself. Now, what also comes with that is some reliability, follow through, friendliness, support, helping, things like that. But tied to that package is hesitancy. Is it safe to say this? Is it safe to go in there? And it also has with it some cooperative skills. So this makes you very relatable as a person. So you're going to have greater soft skills than you're going to have task skills. Now, it doesn't mean you can't do tasks. You can. But your strength is going to be in your relating to other people, supporting their needs, helping them with things, communicating well, and things like this. Is this making sense? Okay. Now, your fear emotion is about a 37. And this means you're somewhat independent. You have your own way of thinking. When you're on your own, and let's say away from the work world, you might even be the life of the party. You're sort of throwing caution to the wind a little bit. But when you get into work, or even when you're looking for work, your fear emotion goes from a 37 to an 80, which is like putting on your thinking cap. It's like dismantling a bomb. And so you become more precise, you become more analytical, you're thinking to yourself, okay, cut the blue wire. Oh my God, they both look blue. Now what am I going to do? I'm not cutting anything at this moment. Let me find out if this is the actual wire I need to cut before I cut it. So you get like that. So rather than being arbitrary and I'll cut whatever the hell I want, you're like, tell me which one to cut and I'll cut that one. So, yeah, exactly. So this means you're likely going to follow the instructions or establish some instructions for somebody who doesn't have any. So if there's not a system present, odds are pretty good you'll likely put one in place. So a couple other things. You're very cooperative and team-oriented from what I'm looking at here. Meaning you're not trying to be the star of the show and you're not trying to grab the wheel from everybody. You're like, listen, I'm just happy to do my thing here and help you all get to what you need to get to. But to shoulder all that, I don't think so. You're not trying to race to the car and get ahead of me. You're screaming, I'm riding shotgun, so you grab the front seat before I do. You're like, I don't care if I sit in the back, I get to talk to Susan, so that'll be fine. It'll make the time go by faster. You're like that. Is that making sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now, you're also very pragmatic, uh, uh, and you're missional. You're more about being on a mission than you are going to work. Okay. What can I do to help? Um, and you're a very black and white thinker. In other words, you're thinking, listen, there's really only one way to skin this cat. So why don't we just do that? I've been here before. I've done this 6 ways to Sunday, and this works the best way. Now, you're not going to force me to do that. You're going to try to convince me to do it. And you're probably really good at that. You kind of make me want to sign up for whatever it is you're doing. Now, I'm imagining from what I'm looking at, you're probably pretty smart. And you have an awareness of your future and what that might look like and what you want it to look like, what that means. Um, and you hope you can arrive there versus come hell or high water, I'm going to be there. You're more anticipating rather than demanding. Okay, what else can I look at? Okay, wow, I'm looking at your axiology. You've got really good scores here. Oh my, I must say. Um, yeah, you're in an excellent category. So, when it comes to people, when you're looking at people, you're pretty intuitive. In other words, somebody could walk in the room while you're there, and you could see their face, and you're like, "Oh my God, I wonder what happened." You know something's wrong. Like you're probably pretty good at reading patterns on people. You're probably a little cautious with people. In other words, you have an awareness that some people aren't all they say they are. Yeah. Yeah, you're like, listen, every coin's got a heads and a tails. And so what happens is your concept of good person, you have one. You're like, this is what a good person looks like to me. And your brain begins to look for areas where they may not be measuring up to that, so you're safe. That kind of a thing. Okay. Next thing I'm looking at here is your practical thinking. So when it comes to what to do and when to do it, you're probably pretty sure of what you need to do to reach a particular goal. And you're all about the benefits of getting that done versus being too concerned about the risks involved. So, wow, here's what I'm thinking looking at this with you. You do things by the book, but it's more or less your book. Yeah. So this is good. So what happens is this. You look at the rules that are presented, and then you're going to determine whether or not they're stupid. Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, that's good. And you're a little bit of a nonconformist. You kind of have that Thelma and Louise side to you. Um, Sort of like, I'm not sitting here all night at this stupid stoplight. It's 2 a.m. and there's nobody out here, and this is one of those long lights, so I'm going to look both ways and roll on through. Yeah, I mean, see, you're able to do that because you're thinking to yourself, this is really stupid. There's nobody out here. So therefore, the rule doesn't apply when it's insane. It's that kind of a thing. So, what does that say about you? It says you're not shackled by uh, systems and protocols and rules. You can look at a situation and you could say to yourself, listen, in this situation here, we don't need to do that. And that moves things along quicker, makes people happier. And now you've made a friend, and now this person's, not going to suffer the wrath of Khan because you strap them with some rule. So as long as you're really skilled at when and when not to do that, you could be really good. And I think, what role are you applying for? Oh, did you get? Okay, see, that's going to be good for that because sometimes you get some special circumstances. And then other times you don't. Other times you got to be, the Gestapo. Um, uh, and then there are some other times when you need to be an angel. So I think if you can parse those out to which one is which, you're going to do well. If you can't, you won't. That's for sure. Okay. You look like you're very confident in what it is you do. Um, this is a very good score. Um, uh, Now, you're either excellent, really good at what you do, or you think you are. Um, Now, looking at your clarity levels, I'm going to say you probably are. Um, and you also very clearly see your future, your goals, your vision of where you want to be in the world, and you're pretty confident you're going to arrive. Um, so these are really good scores. Um, yeah, yeah, these are really good scores. So that's what I'm seeing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, the company, they've had some difficulty in finding the right people. Um, and nowadays, it's hard. It's hard. Um, I mean, considering more than half the resumes out there aren't even true. I mean, you have to think about what companies are facing when trying to find really good people. And so, they put all these in place and they use us here at the Behavioral Resource Group to just help them along in making sure we're trying to cover all the bases. Now, of course, we're not mind readers and we don't have a crystal ball, but we can get closer than they will on their own um, when someone's flashing a smile and smells good. Because you'd be surprised what that does to the brain. Um, and so, but anyway, well, you're in, so that's good. The goal is to keep you in. So, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. 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 So, yeah, I'll send you the reports. Um, and yeah. Um, but anyway, okay, well, good. If you need anything or you ever have any questions, I'm on retainer with the company. And so I'm here for you to help you as you onboard. If you have questions or somebody's acting weird, you can always contact me and I can pull the numbers and say, oh, let me guess. So, working with people can be complex at times. All right. Well, awesome. Um, well, Marie, it's been great meeting you. And I think the company is a very good company. Um, and the goal is meeting your needs, and I'm sure your goal is meeting theirs. And that's how it works. All right. Well, you have any questions? Are you good? You're very welcome. Have a great Thanksgiving.